Good morning and pranam. My due love, regards, and respects to all the divine souls who are listening. I humbly bow and wish all the mothers a very blessed and happy Mother's Day to all. We cannot see God with our eyes, so He created mothers. My humble prostration at the feet of a glorious lineage of Kriya Yoga masters. My Charan Vanna to Gurudev and my Shakshat Pranam to Guruji. We'll begin with a prayer. Sarv Mangal Mangalye Shive Sarva Sadike Sharne Triyambikam Gauri Narayani Namastute. O Mother of the Universe, Ma Parvati, consort of Lord Shiva, you who bestows auspiciousness to all and fulfill everyone's wishes, I prostrate before thee, Ma, take me under your care. So today's topic is, you are what you eat. Now this journey of life begins in the mother's womb. It's she who provides nourishment much before we open our eyes to the world. And this nourishment, it goes a long way in making our body and mind. You are what you eat. Jaisa an, vaisa man. It's a famous saying which is based on our scriptures. The Upanishads, they have given a lot of importance to food, where food or an is called Par Brahma Swarup. An is called Brahman. The concept is God is life and life is food. There is a beautiful prayer from Bhagavad Gita, which we recite in our ashrams before meals. Om Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahma Agnam, Brahma Hutum, Brahma Ten Kantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. It means that food is Brahma. The process of offering it is Brahma. It is being offered in the fire of Brahma. And he who sees Brahman in every action, he easily reaches Brahman. Hence, for those who are completely absorbed in God consciousness, they see God in everything. Taittiriya Upanishad has given a beautiful explanation about the origin of food. It says that from Brahman came Akash, or space, from space, air, from air, fire, from fire, water, from water, earth, and from earth, vegetation, and out of vegetation, food, and out of food is the body of man. Hence, the body of man is composed of the essence of food. It is the physical sheath or the Annamaya Kosh. From food, all beings are born. They live by food, and then again to the food or to the earth, they go back in the end. Now, the food which we eat is divided into three parts. That which is the coarsest part, it becomes the feces. That which is medium becomes the flesh, and that which is the finest forms the mind. When we look into Chandogya Upanishad, it says that when the curd is churned, that which is the subtle part, it rises upwards. That becomes the clarified butter. And in this very way, the subtle part or the finest part of the food, that becomes our mind. Now, food, it enriches every aspect of our lives. It is a part of family traditions, celebrations, to our cultural traditions. We use food as a reward, punishment. We use it to show our love, generosity, and sharing. It serves as a way of social gatherings, and there are many aspects in which food plays a very important role. But we treat food at a very simple biological level and fail to understand the key position that food occupies in making our body mind. Bhagavad Gita has given a beautiful explanation and a very comprehensive description. In chapter 14, verse 1, Lord narrates the highest knowledge, having known which the sages and the rishis, they have gone from this world to the highest state of perfection, and they were relieved from the cycle of birth and death. Further, Bhagavad Gita says in verse 3 and 4, Lord says that the mother's nature is my womb, and in it I place the seed of life. The creation of all beings begins from there. The Prakriti is the womb, and I am the seed-giving father. Further, in verse 5, Lord explains the creation of all beings. It begins from the triple qualities or the three modes of nature: sattva, good; rajas, passion; and tamas, ignorance. These are the modes of nature which binds the eternal soul to the perishable body, and that is the cause of our birth or being. When we reach above all these, we are versed in Him, and we are relieved from the cycle of birth and death. Now, according to the Hindu mythology, nature has installed a very diverse mechanism within each one of us that influences our temperament, personality, and our personal differences between one another. The different ratio of these three modes of nature, sattva, rajas, and tamas, these influence our temperament, and they are directly related to food that we eat. In verse 6, Lord says that sattva is the mode of goodness, being purer than the other two. It binds the soul by creating attachment to happiness, attachment to knowledge. It is free from impurities. It causes illumination and is free from disease. Further, in verse 7 of the 14th chapter, Lord says that Rajas is characterized by passion, attractions arising from worldly desires and attachments. It binds the soul through attachment to the fruits of action. In verse 8, Lord again says, Tamas is born from ignorance, which confuses all beings, and it binds the soul with negligence, intolerance, idleness, and sleep. Further, in verse 11 to 13, Lord explains that when the light of knowledge shines, we can judge that sattva or goodness predominates when greed, restlessness, and desires are born, when rajas is dominant, and when tamas, idleness dominates. In verse 18 of the 14th chapter, Lord says that those with the sattvic, they rise upwards. Rajas remain in the middle, and tamas are established in the lowest qualities. They go downwards. All these qualities are somehow related to the food. Chandogya Upanishad says that from the purity of the food follows the purity of mind and body. Further, it says that when the nourishment is pure, reflections and higher understandings are pure. Our memory becomes strong. When the memory is strong, our reflections and our vision becomes clear, and there is all release from all the knots in the heart. Now, when we go to chapter 17, verse 8 of Bhagavad Gita, Lord here says that food that promotes life, longevity, vitality, virtues, intelligence, strength, vigor, health, happiness, and satisfaction. They are juicy, soft, firm, pleasant to the stomach. These kinds of food are dear to good and sattvic people. Sattva includes fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, grains, cereals, milk, and lentils. Eating sattvic food makes a person more sattvic in his karmas. Performing sattvic karmas in one area of life can increase sattva in other areas. In his virtues and in his personality, there is more truthfulness, honesty, discipline, politeness, and there is clarity of vision. Again, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, verse 9, Lord explains that Rajasic food are pungent, disagreeable, sour, salty, excessively hot, sharp, harsh, dry, burning. They cause pain and grief and disease. Rajasic food pushes you towards greed, self-centeredness, performing work solely for monetary gains. Further, in chapter 17, verse 10, food that is spoiled, tasteless, rotten, left over, putrid, impure, is dear to the tamasic people. That makes them dull. Non-vegetarian or meat eating is included in this. Tamasic food can induce the worst qualities in a person of laziness, sleepiness, arrogance, deceitfulness, as non-vegetarian food also falls under the tamasic category. And eating non-vegetarian food implies negative sanskars and karmic impressions in the mind of a spiritual aspirant. Now, in chapter 5, verse 18 of Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that the humble sage, by the nature of his true knowledge, he sees with an equal vision a learned, a kind Brahmin, a cow, elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. He sees God equally in all. In Manu Samhita, when we go to chapter 5, from verse 51 to 58, it says that he who permits the slaughter of an animal, he who cuts it, he who kills it, he who buys, sells it, he who serves it, and he who eats it must be considered as the slayer of the animal. And there is no greater sin than that man who, though not worshipping God, he seeks to increase the bulk of his own flesh by the flesh of other beings. Now, Ayurveda says that God has made man herbivores. Man is vegetarian by nature. Flesh eating is not his habit or nature. Those animals which are carnivores, like lion, wolf, they are given sharp teeth and claws in order to enable them to cleave the flesh with their sharp claws and cut the same with their sharp teeth. But the human teeth are blunt, fit for fruits, grains, and vegetables. Even human intestines, they are different from those of the carnivorous animals. The intestine of the human being, they cannot digest flesh of the animals. On the contrary, the remains of flesh which are stuck in the lines of the intestine, they give rise in different forms of diseases. It is not only this, but the source of a bread goes a long way in making you. I'll share a very beautiful episode from Mahabharata. When the war got over and Maharaja Yudhishthir took over Hastinapur, he, along with his wife Draupadi and his younger brothers, they went to the battlefield to meet Bhishma Pitama, who fought against the Pandavas. And Bhishma Pitama was lying on the bed of arrows. He was waiting for the sun to move to Uttarayan so that he could willfully leave the body. When Yudhishthir, it is during this time that Yudhishthir requested Pitama to guide him about the one ashram and the time-tested relationships between the king and his subjects. Now, when Pitama was midway in the sermons, suddenly Draupadi laughed. And Pitama asked her the reason. And Draupadi said that, Pitama, just now you are giving rich, virtuous sermons on Dharma Updesh. But when the Shashan was disrobing me in the Kuru Sabha, where was your Dharma Updesh? And Pitama was stunned. He waited for a moment and then very gently and softly replied that you are right, Draupadi, but then I was feeding myself with the polluted bread of Duryodhana that made my mind polluted. And that is why in the Kuru Sabha, when the Ashran was disrobing you, I could not use Dharma Updesh to save you. But when the innumerable arrows of Arjun that pierced my body, all the polluted blood which was made from the polluted bread of Duryodhana has drained out. And with that, my mind has become pure again, and I'm able to think clearly about religion and dharma in the right manner. This is how the source of our bread, it goes a long way in making us. The money with which it is purchased should be of honest earnings. The place where it is prepared, the kitchen, should not only be hygienically clean, but full of positive vibrations of love while cooking food. It influences the food. It is so easy to mindlessly eat something that has very little value to the soul or is deprived of love. On the contrary, you will see that the food prepared by the mother for her children is prepared with love. Food prepared for commercial use to earn money is deprived of love. It is designed to be easy, unhealthy, palatable only to the tongue. Again, Bhagavad Gita comes in chapter 6, verse 16. Lord talks about the quantity of food one must eat. Here Lord says that one who eats too much or fasts for too long, one who sleeps too much or does not sleep enough cannot follow the path of yoga. The feeling with which it is offered also arises pure virtues. I'll come up again with a very famous story in Shiv Puran, where a huntsman was sitting on a branch of a tree, waiting for his prey. Unknowingly, he pushed some leaves and water on the shivling that was situated at the base of the tree. As a result of this act, the hunter developed compassion and unknowingly, and he could no longer kill the animals. This highlights that how devotion, compassion, and for other beings and transformations are interrelated. Further, when we go to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 14, Lord says that during the last minute of life, a person's mind is under the influence of his dominant attributes of sattvic, rajasic, and tamas. This determines our next birth. People with the dominant sattvic gunas or qualities, they take rebirth as people who are pure in their mind. On the contrary, dying with the rajasic gunas will be reborn in families devoted to action. They remain in the middle. if a person's soul departs with tamas gunas, growing due to the tamasic food takes rebirth in people who are ignorant. Here in chapter 9, verse 26, Lord says that the food should be cooked and offered with love. In this verse, Krishna says that those who offer to me with devotion a pure leaf, a heart, a flower, a piece of fruit, or water, I'll accept that offering of devotion. The basic principle involved is pure love and devotion, which Krishna reciprocates many million times. Further, when we go to chapter 3, verse 13, Lord says that those people who are not pious, who prepare food for themselves and do not offer it to God, are engrossed in sin. All food, if silently offered to God with prayers before eating, becomes consecrated or blessed. It becomes prasad. Prasad means favor or grace. In most religions, food and water is offered during puja or worship. It is believed that the deity partakes of and then returns this offering, thereby consecrating it, blessing it, and this offering or prasad is then distributed and eaten by the worshippers. Even food left by the Guru is considered prasad by the followers, as Guru is regarded as a living God. Now, the prayer purifies the food of 3 impurities. Impurities which are caused by the absence of cleanliness or hygiene. Cleanliness in the process of cooking, because we do not know what thoughts raged in the mind of a person who was preparing the food. Was it with love or anger? Similarly, we cannot ensure the cleanliness of the food ingredients because we do not know whether it was acquired with the righteous earnings by the person who sold it. Hence, it is very important on our parts to offer it to God with a prayer so that these impurities do not affect our body and mind. For the pure food goes a long way in making our body and mind. Finally, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 27, there is again a very beautiful prayer recited in our ashrams during meal. Yat karosi, yat anasi, yajohi datsi yat pashrasya kunte, tat guru, at arpana. Which means, here Lord says that whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give, whatever austerities that you perform, Arjun, do it as an offering to me. And if you do that, you will be liberated from the bonds of action that produce good and evil fruits. And with your mind disciplined by the yoga of renunciation, you will come to me. Jaisa an, vaisa man. Now we'll spend the next 15 minutes in general meditation or commune with God, connecting with Him with pure heart, full of love and devotion, asking Him for His blessings. Sit straight wherever you are. Keep the spine straight. Bring the attention in between the 2 eyebrows in the soul center, Yogacharya, the divine kingdom. Take this opportunity to detach yourself from the outside world and anchor yourself with the divinity. That is your true self, your true nature, your breath. With love and devotion, watch every inhalation and every exhalation like a witness. God is formless, but how do we feel His presence? As the saints have said, it is through breath, as the breath is the living manifestation or the living power of God within. Love Him. Offer your gratitude in each breath. Now, inhale, slow, long, deep. Hold the breath and gently bow. And exhale, normal, conscious breathing. Total surrender. No ego. O Lord, I am yours. Bless me, guide me, show me the directions. Now again, take a deep inhalation. Hold your breath. Sit up and exhale. Normal, conscious breathing. But before we enter into the state of meditation, which is not a technique, but a state of mind, to control the mind, we need to control the breath. We'll do a couple of pranayams to regulate the breathing with deep inhalations and deep exhalations. As you inhale, take in all the divine virtues, the positive qualities, and with every exhalation, bring out all the negativity from within, cleansing yourself, filling yourself with more love, more peace. We'll do a couple of cyclic breathing from the bottom of the spine to the top of the head. Inhale, love. Exhale, anger. Inhale, peace. Exhale, restlessness. Inhale, purity. Exhale, lust. Deep inhalations, deep exhalations. Inhale, generosity. Exhale, ego. Inhale, devotion. Exhale, fear. Inhale joy. Exhale sadness. Deep inhalations, deep exhalations. Now your breath has become equal. Sit straight like a statue with no movement of the body, bringing the attention in the soul center with very shallow, feeble, rhythmic breathing. Feeble the breath, calmer is the mind. No thoughts. You are merged in calmness, peace, joy, and bliss. There is outer and inner stillness. Go deeper and deeper and merge in the sound of silence, in silent meditation. Nothing more to practice. Bringing the awareness back to the body consciousness, gently open your eyes, feeling calm and peaceful. Maintain that peace within and all around. Let us pray for the well-being of all, especially during these difficult times when the Mother Earth is suffering from wars, disease, starvation, homelessness. Let each and every one of us pray to bring love, harmony, and peace in this whole creation. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukh bhavet. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May there be only auspiciousness. May no one have a share in sorrow. May there be only peace, love, and harmony. May the blessings of God and Gurus be upon us all. I humbly bow to each and every one of you. May you perceive Him in every breath. Om Purnamidam Purnamida Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Amen. And thank you for listening.